Once upon a time, there was a young woman named Emily. She had just moved to a new city to start her job as a graphic designer, and she was feeling a bit lonely. One day, she decided to go for a walk in the park to clear her mind and enjoy the fresh air. As she was strolling through the park, she noticed a man sitting on a bench, reading a book. Emily couldn't help but notice how handsome he was. He had dark, tousled hair, piercing blue eyes, and a rugged jawline. She felt a flutter in her chest as she approached him, but she couldn't muster the courage to say hello. The man looked up from his book and caught Emily's eye. He smiled warmly and gestured for her to join him on the bench. Emily hesitated for a moment, but then decided to take a chance. They started chatting, and Emily soon found out that the man's name was Jack. He was a writer, and he had just moved to the city as well. Emily felt an instant connection with Jack. They talked for hours about their hopes and dreams, and before they knew it, the sun had set and the park was empty. Jack walked Emily back to her apartment, and they exchanged numbers before saying goodnight. Emily couldn't stop thinking about Jack as she drifted off to sleep that night. She had never felt such a strong connection with someone before. Over the next few weeks, Emily and Jack started dating. They went on long walks in the park, shared meals at cozy restaurants, and spent lazy afternoons reading together in Emily's apartment. Emily felt like she was living in a dream. Jack was kind, thoughtful, and endlessly romantic. He would surprise her with flowers and sweet notes, and he always knew how to make her smile. One evening, Jack took Emily on a surprise date. He blindfolded her and led her to a secret location. When he finally removed the blindfold, Emily was stunned. They were standing on a hill overlooking the city skyline. Jack had set up a picnic with candles, blankets, and her favorite foods. As they watched the sunset, Jack pulled out a guitar and started to play a song he had written just for her. Emily felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes. She had never felt so loved. As the months went by, Emily and Jack's love continued to grow. They moved in together and started building a life together. Emily felt like she had found her soulmate. One evening, Jack took Emily out for a romantic dinner at a fancy restaurant. Emily had a feeling that something was up, but she didn't want to get her hopes up too high. After dinner, Jack took her to a secluded beach, where he had set up a bonfire and blankets. They snuggled up next to each other under the stars, listening to the sound of the waves crashing against the shore. Jack took Emily's hand and looked deeply into her eyes. "Emily, I love you more than anything in this world," he said. "You make me feel complete. Will you marry me?" Emily felt tears streaming down her face as she nodded yes. Jack slipped a beautiful diamond ring onto her finger, and they kissed under the moonlight. The next year was a whirlwind of wedding planning, family gatherings, and pure bliss. Emily and Jack's wedding was everything they had dreamed of and more. They said their vows in a beautiful garden surrounded by their closest friends and family. Emily wore a stunning lace gown, and Jack looked dapper in a classic tuxedo. As they exchanged their rings, Emily felt like she was in a dream. She had never felt so happy and in love. After the wedding, Emily and Jack jetted off to their honeymoon in a romantic villa on the Italian coast. They spent their days exploring the quaint towns, savoring delicious Italian cuisine, and lounging on the beach. As the sun set over the sea each night, they would snuggle up on the balcony with a glass of wine, talking about their hopes and dreams for the future. One evening, Jack surprised Emily with a candlelit dinner on the beach. They sat at a table set up in the sand, with the gentle sound of waves in the background. Jack poured them both glasses of champagne and raised his glass to Emily. "To my beautiful wife," he said, "I am the luckiest man in the world to have you by my side. You make me a better person, and I promise to spend the rest of my life making you happy." Emily felt tears well up in her eyes as she raised her own glass to him. "To my wonderful husband," she said, "I love you more than words can express. You make my life complete, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for us." As they enjoyed their meal, a local musician began playing a guitar on the beach. Emily and Jack got up and started dancing in the sand, lost in the music and the moment. The rest of their honeymoon was a blur of laughter, love, and adventure. They climbed mountains, explored vineyards, and danced in the streets of small Italian towns. As they packed their bags to head home, Emily felt a sense of sadness wash over her. She didn't want their magical honeymoon to end. Back in their home city, Emily and Jack settled into their new life as a married couple. They both continued to pursue their passions and careers, but they made sure to prioritize their relationship above all else. They went on date nights, took long walks, and surprised each other with small gifts and gestures of love. 1 year after their wedding, Emily and Jack returned to the beach where they had shared their candlelit dinner on their honeymoon. They sat on the sand, watching the sunset and reminiscing about the past year. Jack pulled out a small box from his pocket and handed it to Emily. "Happy anniversary, my love," he said. Emily opened the box to find a beautiful bracelet with a small diamond charm. She felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes. "It's beautiful," she said. "Thank you so much, Jack." Jack took her hand and looked into her eyes. "Emily, I love you more every day," he said. "You are my soulmate, my partner, and my best friend. I can't imagine my life without you. Will you spend the rest of your life with me?" Emily felt a wave of emotion wash over her as she nodded yes. Jack slipped a new ring onto her finger, and they kissed under the stars. The years flew by, and Emily and Jack's love only grew stronger. They traveled the world, started a family, and built a beautiful life together. Even in the toughest times, they always knew that they had each other. As they celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary, Emily looked back on their journey together with a heart full of gratitude and love. She knew that she had found her soulmate in Jack, and she was grateful for every moment they had shared. Together, they walked hand in hand into the sunset, ready for whatever adventures life had in store for them next.